Houses selling for $300,000 above reserve. Let's have a look. Hello everyone, Florian.Heise here and welcome to another episode of HeiseSays. Grab your stein of coffee. We're going to have a look at an article from ABC News just discussing the property market here in Queensland, particularly in southeast Queensland. We're having a lot of interstate buyers wanting to move to Queensland for some reason. And, well, it's going to pump up the housing. And I can't really talk because, I'm a Victorian. I admit it. Grew up in Victoria, and we came up in the early 90s, guys. My parents and I moved up here, so the secret's out. I did barrack for Collingwood, so don't unsubscribe right away. At least watch the end of the video. They're not that bad a team. At least it wasn't the Bears. Anyway, let's have a look at this article, guys. So the pandemic has interstate buyers set on Queensland house prices as they continue to soar. Let's have a look. Let's start by looking at these Queensland prices, guys. We'll have here in Brisbane prices, and I'm just going to put my full screen so I can see it. Whoa, there we go. So look at that. Boom, weekly asking property prices. That's whoa. All houses are up. Combined, houses and units are up. 721,000. Three betters, 638,000. There you go. Let's look at rents as well. I know that's not what this article is about, but we can see there rents 519, three betters 485, all units 395, two bedroom units 395. There you go, 60 cents for the difference between the units. It's going up, guys. Everything's going up here. There's demand in Brisbane. People want to move here. So we'll see if my house, skyrockets. I'll be a genius in property investor, just like the boomers happening to buy in a part of the country that's under demand. Single dad, Tiffy Karen, has been hunting for a house in Brisbane's inner west for 5 months, but keeps being outbid by desperate buyers. It is a sonic boom. The property market is on steroids. It's a bit of a cat eat cat. He said, isn't it? Dog eat dog, everyone? Or is that just, outdated? The 38-year-old has been offering up to 20% higher than the asking price on every property. Bloody hell. But I missed out on one a month at least with the one that I got that I've gone serious for. He missed out on one a month. There have been 50 to 60 people at inspections, and straight away there is a buzz of excitement and offers to come. I would say the winning bids are getting upwards of 20 or 30% higher than asking prices. It's definitely a crazy market, with agents saying to me they have not seen anything like this for decades. I need to ring up some of my real estate mates. He said he has learned not to let his heart rule his head with property, but he's realized he'll have to switch up his strategy. I'm not letting emotion take over. I know it's a tough market, and I know there are a lot of people maybe being forced to make quick, rash decisions, and I'm trying to stay well away from that. But now, when I do find the exact right property, and knowing how much I've been missing out, he's going to have FOMO. I will up my bids and go 25% higher or whatever it needs. This is the thing, guys. You hear about these people that just get really frustrated, and the FOMO just kicks in. Low stock has potential buyers worried. The supersonic property boom continues to soar, with latest data showing a yearly growth rate of nearly 20%, the biggest annual hike since the 1980s. CoreLogic figures show housing prices have risen almost 11 times faster than wages growth over the past year and are set to soar even further. Head of research, Eliza Owen, said this created a significant barrier to entry for those who do not yet own a home. The sales figures show Brisbane's annual price rise was 18.8%. I mean, this is insane. This is crazy. The problem with this, everyone, why would you start a business? Why would you deal with all that crap, guys? Just buy property and then make a course explaining to people how buying property you can make 18% a year and then sell that course online. I'm not even joking anymore, guys. This is just nuts. Nationally, we are seeing the highest growth in Australian housing values since the ending of July 1989, she said. Through the late 1980s, the annual pace of national home value appreciation was as high as 31%, so the market isn't quite in unprecedented territory. Remember guys, I'll just bring this chart here to show you. I know we haven't hit a recession. I've got to update this chart. We haven't got the potential of another recession, but a big part of that is probably because the government's been buying vaccines. But anyway, we did have our first recession for 28 years. And now, what is it? 5 quarters after, we're talking about Brisbane house prices rocketing up 18.4%. The annual growth rate at the annual growth rate at the moment is trending higher. In fact, it is 3.6 times higher than the 30-year average rate of annual growth. These are extraordinary growth rates. However, for the Sunshine State, we did see huge rates in the early 2000s as well due to the mining boom. Brisbane ranked the third fastest city for price growth for August, 2%, ranking third behind Canberra and Hobart when it came to prices in August. With mortgage rates as low as they are, I think this will continue to support growth into next year, but the rate of growth will slow, she said. Some people are facing affordability constraints. We're already seeing a reduction in the number of first-home buyers participating, and that will eventually slow rates before we see that turn in the market when we see prices start to come down. We even see prices start to come down. Even if prices start to come down, will they only come down to, we've had 18% growth in a year, guys. It's just housing isn't affordable, guys. Unless you're, unless you're in probably even in the higher income of household incomes, a house is not for you to own. Are we just now becoming like Europe, where you're going to have people perpetually renting? Is that a sign that our civilization is, reaching a different level? Now we've got the stratification in our society. We've got, classes emerging, much stronger than they were before. CoreLogic found in dollar terms the annual increase in national dwelling value equated to about $103,000 or $1,990 a week. You know what the median wage is? Do I have that here? Got the wage price index. I don't think I've got the median on my little chart here. I haven't brought it in. But I'll add that to my deck another time. Average is about 65 grand a year. Median, that's not average. Median is where you've got half the people above and half the people below. 55. 2 years' wages, pretty much. In comparison, Australian wages are rising at the average annual rate of 1.7%. Disillusioned home hunters are also missing out due to lack of stock. Ms. Owens said houses for sale were down 30% as owners worried if they sold, would they not be able to buy in the same market? Yeah, that's the thing. Why are you going to sell if you need to move somewhere else? There is a very broad-based upswing in the market, she said. So it is not just the high end of the market that is rising. It is also the more affordable areas like Springwood, Kingston, areas like that have also seen increases of around 18% in the last year. Strong Melbourne interest. When it comes to interstate migration to Queensland, Ms. Owen said data showed Melburnians were streaming into the Sunshine State looking for COVID-free safety and a better lifestyle. From Melbourne to Queensland, it is up by about 30% when you compare with the first 3 months of this year in the same period, she said. And this was us. This was my family back in the 90s. You can't help but think some of that has to be due to the extended lockdowns that have taken place across Melbourne as well, 100%. So Dan Andrews is helping increase property prices in Brisbane, guys. There you go, raise a stein to good old Dan. Prices will sustain at these levels. Deloitte Australia's Alex Collinson agrees there are plenty more would-be Queenslanders looking to relocate to a safe COVID-free haven. Based on our forecast, the back half of 2022 to 26, the annual increase in population for Queensland will be in the order of 40 to 50,000 people a year, he said. The overwhelming migration figures led Premier Anastasia Palaszczuk to claim last week that Queensland is being loved to death as she paused interstate hotspot arrivals for 2 weeks. I think she backflip on that. I think that was just a publicity stunt for her new hotel she's building out near the airport in Toowoomba, where they want to bus people there. Oh, boy. What politicians do for photo ops. Interest rates are at historic lows, and the percentage of income, which is the payments for mortgages, are lower than they were 2 or 3 years ago, Mr. Collinson said. So this supports that housing prices are not in a bubble, that they're not going to go up and come down in a crash. They will sustain at these levels. Now, here's another thing to look at, guys, because houses in negative equity, that's fallen down. Look at that, 1%. Queensland's on this chart. It's nowhere near where it was in the past. You've got housing, home loan prepayments. Okay, people are ahead. You're looking at share of total housing lending up to 20%. Owner occupiers and investors, all of them have prepaid their mortgage. They're ahead. Then you've got liquidity buffers here. You've got outright homeowners, indebted homeowners, and renters all have liquidity buffers. And the question is it not if it's sustainable? Okay, that's not the question. Even if here's the thing, people are saying, I think, was it Martin North when he does his mortgage stress analysis? If people are, paying out more money than they've got coming in as a sign, and they're spending 30% more of their income on housing. Here's the argument, a question I'll put to that. If they've got enough liquidity buffers and they can last long enough until the government can intervene and bail them out, or implement Mortgage Keeper, or do another scheme to get the economy going, that's what we have to measure. Do the people who are in trouble have enough liquidity to keep going until there's political intervention? Because that's Australia now. So how long does it take for the government to announce a new scheme and start flushing money out into the economy? I keep joking about Mortgage Keeper, guys. It's a joke. It's meant to be a joke. I want it to be a joke. The staggering growth figures have also been reflected in ANZ's recent house price growth forecast for 2021. It's joined other major banks in predicting a further 20% jump due to confidence in buying and selling during lockdowns. But agents at the coalface say many buyers are anxious, so it's better than a boom. Space Properties, Gabriella Tricky, describes the market as nuts. We've had properties that have sold for nearly $500,000 more than they were going for. It's just extraordinary, she said. A house in Cadiz Street in Indooroopilly went for nearly $300,000 over the reserve at 2.26 the day Brisbane went into lockdown on July 31. And we thought our expectations were pretty high. Some auctions are getting 120 bids, she said. This is it. We're getting the Victorians, we're getting the Sydney-siders coming to Queensland, and they're bringing their approach to property. They're bringing their auction culture here. So you can't blame people for trying to take advantage of it. Townhouses equally have spiked. It is a lovely way of having a home that is quite large without the price tag of a house. Recently, we opened up a property in Terrace Street, Toowong. 3 bedrooms, it was quite large. We had 25 groups through on the weekend, and we ran out of brochures. I don't know, truthfully, how much longer this has to run, but it is much faster and more volatile than the boom in 2008. West of Brisbane, Ipswich, agent Steve Athanates said he had sold through many booms over the past 20 years in real estate, but this is not a boom, it's better than a boom. While prices are cheaper in the Ipswich region, they are still the highest the industry have ever seen. We quite regularly see 50 to 60,000 over the list price if you've got something exceptional, he said. And we've seen 20% increases in the last year. Sometimes we're setting a price which we think is ambitious, and the market will bid over the top of it through the spirit of competition. It is not uncommon also that we're now getting 8 to 10 offers on a single property, and 80% of everything we see sells within 7 to 10 days. 7 to 10 days. He said, with affordable homes in the region priced from 300 to 600,000, interstate investors were flooding in. Last week, I sold 2 properties. where I was FaceTiming these people interstate. So the only inspection is what we showed them as we walked through the house. Bloody hell, that's buying sight unseen. I don't care what you say. That is breaking the rules. That's buying sight unseen. I guess. Then they get a building and pest inspection to ensure everything is okay, but it's becoming quite common to sell that way. So just the building and pest. This is the future, guys. Well, I mean, come on. We should be selling NFTs of Brisbane properties, just photographs of them. You can own the photograph of a property. People are looking at Queensland in general as a destination they think is safer due to the way we are handling the COVID-19 crisis. Interest rates impact is overrated. Property analyst Terry Ryder maintains it has been the pandemic rather than historical low interest rates that have supercharged the current market. Yeah, probably. I think the impact on the level of interest rates is greatly overrated, he said. I think it's only a minor factor in this market as there is a lot of things driving the upcycle we're currently seeing. Yeah, people are moving here that wouldn't have otherwise. Quite often we see references to property prices rising despite the pandemic. In actual fact, I would turn it around and say property prices are rising because of the pandemic. Mr. Ryder said COVID-19 had unleashed forces that would not normally be in the market. I think the lockdowns are the two biggest cities are having an incredible positive impact on Queensland markets, particularly in southeast Queensland, he said. Now that's an interesting take. I think he's right on the money there. I think he's got it. You know, I don't think it's the cash rates. I don't think it's the low interest rates. I think it's people want to get away from Danistan or from, Afghanistan. You know, I think they want to get out of New South Wales. They want to get out of Victoria and come to southeast Queensland. You know. And people at the coalface of the property industry in Brisbane, the Gold Coast, Sunny Coast, say every time Sydney and Melbourne go into major lockdown, their phones run red hot. More and more people are just fed up with the continual restrictions and they want to escape permanently. Mr. Ryder said, these also include expat Australians wanting to come home to escape COVID hotspots overseas. We've got government stimulus spending, which has helped to pump up property markets, he said. We have people in lockdown saving more because they can't spend the way they normally would and they can't travel overseas. So there are all kinds of things pumping up the property market that would not normally be there were it not for the pandemic. Yeah, he's got it. He's got it. The pandemic is good for property in southeast Queensland, guys. Mr. Karen knows he must increase the amount of money he's willing to borrow to secure a home for him and his 3-year-old daughter, Kairos. My dream for Christmas would be to find my own place, being in my own place where you can make renovations and feel like you actually have a home, he said. So hopefully we can get one early Christmas and make that happen. Well, I hope he can. I hope the dad can provide a home for his daughter. Get a fixer-upper, mate. You know, go to Ipswich. You can find one there. Get an old dump. You know, fix her up. She'll be right. You know, how old is she? 3-year-olds? Yeah, 3-year-old. Get on the tools. Definitely. Get them painting. So what's the solution or takeaway to this? That's how. Well, guys, if you're in Brisbane property, I'd be holding. Well, I am, unless you want to move somewhere else. But it's just crazy. It's just crazy. I think 100% it's the pandemic having this effect. It's people fleeing the southern states coming up to Queensland here. It's going to be tough for people trying to buy in. But this is what I've heard from family members who have got a lot of experience, older family members who've been through many cycles. They're saying whenever Brisbane and whenever Sydney and Melbourne cool down a little bit, Brisbane jumps up. So that's the normal pattern. But now we've got the fuel on the fire. Someone's pouring the petrol can onto the fire, which is lockdowns and restrictions, and people are going, stuff this, I want to move to Queensland. Now, if you can work from home, if you can telecommute, you can get another job up here, why not? What's the solution or the takeaway? Prepare, honestly. So if suddenly you're sitting on a property, if you made all this money, just realize what the cause of it is. If you're trying to get in the market here in Brisbane, I don't know, guys, it's going to get tough. You're now going to be competing with Victorians and Sydney-siders. Good luck. What do you think, everyone? Let me know your thoughts and opinions on this one in the comments down below. Please like, share, and subscribe to the channel. If you're a fan and enjoy the content I create here, there are a few ways you can support us. You can join us on YouTube or Patreon. Sign up for SelfWealth or Stake. Use our affiliate links at Amazon, eBay, Independent Reserve, or AussieBroadband. You can buy our merch from HeiseSays, use Gold Pass from the Perth Mint, or support us via PayPal. Take care, everyone. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.